Hi guys, it's Amy here. So I'm here today talking to you about anger. Anger is a really interesting topic that I've recently found more information about, and a different way to look at anger than I was originally familiar with. And it's really helped me a lot. I know I grew up in a fairly angry household, and I just thought anger was a normal thing, and which it is a normal thing, a normal emotion, a normal feeling, but I thought it was okay to just have anger in unhealthy ways, throwing things and having tantrums and freaking out when things didn't go your way. Hi Allison, welcome. Thank you for joining me here. So we're talking about anger, and feel free to say hi or make a comment if you would like to. So I was just talking about how I used to think anger was a normal thing, and it is a normal thing. It was normal, and it was okay to use unhealthy ways to express it. By throwing things, having tantrums, being frustrated. I remember after having my first daughter and fostering my nephew, there was a lot of anger that came up in my life. And so I had to start looking for other ways to deal with this anger. And I did a yell-free challenge for a year, and that was really eye-opening for me to learn more. And at that time, I don't think I really kind of put the connection of anger and yelling kind of together. I don't know why, but I was thinking about that last night. Yelling is a form of anger, and so I learned a lot about anger through that process, and also through other means. But the thing that I learned about anger is that it is a way to serve you to know that something's wrong. So if anger's coming up, it's telling you something's not right. We need to make a change. And so it can be constructive. It can be a positive thing, which enables you to reshape your life and change your life. So if anger's coming up, that's all it's telling you. It's saying something is not right. And we need to make a change. So it's as we get more familiar with ourselves and start to recognize those triggers and those things that happen in us, we're able to find ways to make those changes. A good example, actually shortly after I'm done this video, we're going to have an assessor coming to assess our house, and we've been working all winter to make it nice and do things to it. And when I'd taken the call finally, I'd said, yeah, okay, 2 days, that sounds good. And then afterwards, I was getting quite angry with myself, and I was like, why didn't you tell them a week later so you had more time to prepare? And I was starting to get really frustrated with myself and angry. And so what I did, what I ended up doing was taking the anger as a sign that I need to do something about this. So instead of being angry, I switched it, and I started doing the things I needed to do. So I started problem solving. Hello, welcome. I'm glad you're joining me live. So I'm just telling my story. And so last night, what I ended up doing was I started figuring out, okay, what are the things that need to happen right away? So I started prioritizing, okay, we only have so much time to paint this, and then we need to start cleaning, right? There's only so much time. So I just go. And I started taking those actions to work through that anger. And actually, one of the well-known authors on anger, Metchling, DJ, he writes Angry in Me. He talks about how the only way to get rid of or to move through the normal emotion of anger is physical movement or vocalization. So yelling, that's a way that we express our anger. Sometimes yelling can be not such a healthy way, especially if it's hurting other people or harming other people. But yelling in a healthy way, we'll go through that a little bit later on healthy ways to deal with your anger. And so he talks about that, and physical movement. So that's what I was doing yesterday, I was moving around and going and taking action to get through that process of being angry. Hi Jessie, thank you for joining us. Feel free to comment or say hi or anything. So as this author, Metchling, he talks about, he has a really good analogy here that I'll read out to you. He says, think of anger as smoke in an old-fashioned wood stove. The normal avenue for discharge is through the flute, out the chimney. If the normal avenue is blocked, the smoke will leak out of the stove in unintended ways. Around the door, through the grate, etc., choking everyone in the room. If all avenues of escape are blocked, the fire goes out and the stove ceases to function. So this is his analogy of it, and it makes sense. Is if we're not directing our anger in a healthy thing, so like the chimney, in a healthy way, then it can end up seeping out in different ways, and we're not even aware. So he calls this unaware anger. So if we're not tuning into ourselves and figuring out why we're angry and what it's telling us, it's going to become unaware anger. So you're not aware of this anger, and it's going to seep out into different ways in our life, which can cause a lot of damage when it doesn't get expressed, and it can hurt our family members, it can hurt the people around us, and we don't want that to happen. But again, I want to remind you, it's okay to be angry. It's a healthy, normal emotion. There's just healthy ways to deal with that anger, and it's telling us that something needs to change, that we need to do something about this. So I've told you a couple stories about me and my anger and how that's worked with me. Another really interesting thing that I've learned about anger is sadness and anger are very much related. They're very close emotions. So if you think of an onion, when you're working through your sadness or you're working through your anger, you peel off that layer of anger, and underneath there's sadness. And once you work through that sadness feeling, you peel it off and there's another layer of anger, and it's going to keep going like that. And that's okay. That's the process. If you feel like you're going through that, you're going through anger, and then you're going through sadness, you're going through anger, that's okay. You're working through the process and you're getting there. That's completely normal. I like that analogy. I love the onion layer. It fits a lot with a lot of different emotions. So remember, it's okay to be angry. And as you get through it, as you learn to recognize these emotions and recognize what they're telling you and figure out healthy ways to deal with them, there will be less energy bound up in controlling the anger, and you'll start to experience emotions such as happiness and calm, and generally find that you have more energy. So you may find, and I know I find it as well, is if I'm having an angry time or angry day, there's a situation that's making me frustrated, upset, it drains our energy, and we're exhausted by the end of the day. And sometimes after a day like that, you sleep so well just because you're so exhausted and you have no energy left, so you need to rejuvenate. So that's the thing, is as you learn to work through these things, you will start to experience other emotions such as happiness and calmness, and that's a good thing to look forward to. And with less anger, you'll also find that you think more clearly, and you are able to make changes that you need to make in your life. So these are good, healthy things to learn, how to recognize your anger and all that, so that you're able to move past it. So now I want to move in. Hi Cami, thank you for joining. Feel free to say hi. So I want to go through now some strategies that you can use, some healthy ways that you can express your anger. And again, being angry is okay. So, hi. So say, so you need to express it, you need to get it out. It's telling you that something's happening and you need to make a change. So to express it in the moment, you can do something like pounding a pillow, crying or screaming into a pillow, going out for a walk and screaming and yelling out where, you know, no, it's not affecting anybody. That's the vocalization, getting it out. The physical part, punching a pillow, you know, doing that safe, you know, getting out to the gym, punching your punching bag, doing things that are physically getting it out, vocally getting it out. Things like tearing up magazines, paper, old telephone books. Sometimes I like to journal, so if you write everything down and then you can rip it, and that tearing process is that physical, that writing process is physically getting you through that emotion and helping you move past it. And again, remember that onion. So sadness can come, anger can come. It can all work together, and it means you're working through the process. It doesn't mean it's not a bad thing. It's just a normal thing that we go through, sadness and anger in layers. So break something safely, something that's not valuable, something that you're able to break that's not going to hurt anybody else, that's going to make you feel good. Wringing a towel or hitting a towel against something. That you could, or tearing it up and throwing it out afterwards. So things like that. I scream happy and mad all of the time in my car. Nice. That's good. And screaming in your car. That's perfect. You're not affecting anybody. You're in your car. You're in a safe place. Screaming and getting all of that out, right? And that is helping move those emotions through. And that's what we want to be doing. So don't be afraid of your anger. I know the way I grew up, and then again, I didn't really touch base on that very much, but in society, it's looked at as a negative emotion. A lot of people look at anger of like, oh, that person's just angry, we're not going to deal with them, or we're going to avoid them altogether, right? And so people, when they are angry, they get that negativity towards them, and they feel like it's a bad thing, and they don't know how to deal with it. And especially women are afraid of being angry. We're told we're supposed to be nice, especially mothers. We're supposed to be nice and not get angry. So we end up pushing all that stuff down inside of us, and it's not healthy to be doing that. Again, back to my analogy earlier of that smoke and the fire, and how it needs to go out the chimney. It can't be seeping out any other way, otherwise it's going to be affecting more things and that we're not even aware of. That's the unaware anger, when we're unaware of it and we let it get to that point. So again, use movement, get out, exercise, tear things, rip things, punch things, the pillows, of course, things that are safe, punching bags, screaming in a safe environment. So these are things that we want to start trying to do more, is finding healthy ways to deal with our anger. And thank you guys for joining me. I'm happy to have you here, and I hope you got something out of it. If you're watching the replay, please share your stories of anger, of ways maybe that you found to deal with your own anger. I know it always helps when we're sharing our own stories, so that other people can see what we've all been through, and what helps some may help others, may not. So share your stories. Even share your stories of maybe if you're trying to work through this and you need help. I'm willing to help and work with you on this. Feel free to message me anytime. If you feel there's something that you would like to work through right away, just send me a message and I'd be happy to set up a time to chat with you. So thank you again for joining me, and have a wonderful Saturday. We'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.